I am the President of the Republic of Ghana. I was born 1 year after my country gained independence from colonial domination in 1957. I was born in the same year as Michael Jackson, whose untimely tragic death shocked the whole world. Michael was also known as the King of Pop and was one of the greatest entertainers that ever lived. The words of his 1991 hit song, "Heal the World," continues to echo to us from his grave. Michael Jackson sang, and I quote, "Heal the world, make the world a better place for you and for me and the entire human race." His song was released in 1991 and came at a time of excitement for the whole world. In the 58 years of my life, I have seen the world change more rapidly than in the millions of years of its existence. My life has spanned the excitement of the post-war era, the heady days of our liberation from colonial rule in Africa, the Apollo moon landing, the Cold War, the excitement at the fall of the Berlin Wall, the era of globalization, the end of apartheid. Mr. President, our world today is more complicated than it has ever been. And the question I ask is, what happened to the ideals that gave birth to this organization, the United Nations? What happened to that enthusiasm that captured the spirit of the post-war world, that envisioned peace, safety, and security for all of mankind? What happened to the excitement at the thawing of the Cold War? And what happened to our joy at the collapse of apartheid? The era of the Cold War created a paradoxical safety and security. The bipolar world and the arms race assured mutual destruction from any nuclear war. And therefore, the world was a more predictable place. Those of us in developing countries hid behind our shield of the non-aligned movement. We marched against nuclear armaments and envisioned the day the nuclear arms race would end so that the trillions of dollars that were being spent by the superpowers on nuclear weapons will yield a dividend that will create a life of prosperity for all people on earth. President Reagan stood before the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin in 1987 and said, "Mr. Gorbachev," I quote, "Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Quotations closed. In President Reagan's words, walls cannot withstand faith, walls cannot withstand truth, and walls cannot withstand freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall envisioned a new world, the era of globalization, an age where trade and interaction amongst people of the world would spread prosperity across the globe. A young man in West Africa drops out of school and takes to selling petty items along the streets of the city. Agreeing with 4 of his friends, they decide to raise money and try to make it to the greener pastures of Europe. They pay their way through Niger and arrive at Agadez, from where they brave the trek of death. This is a dangerous hike across the harshest desert on earth, the Sahara. They are attacked by bandits along the way and robbed of all their money and provisions. They are rescued by some good Samaritan. 2 members of their group do not make it through the desert crossing. After months of living under the threat of death from many of the armed groups, including ISIS in Libya, they finally board an overloaded dinghy bound for Italy. Rescued from the sea after their dinghy capsized, only one of them remained, held in a refugee center in Italy. He is the lucky one, the only one of 5 friends to survive this perilous journey. How long he will remain in the detention center, he does not know. And this could be the story of any young African seeking a better life in Europe. Mr. President, all over the world, there are new walls coming up, walls that imprison us against the rest of the world. It is a paradox of our world that nearly 30 years after President Reagan called for the Berlin Wall to be torn down, new walls are springing up everywhere. And yet we have the resources in this world to guarantee each person a decent life.
Yes, that is the president-elect of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I think he gave this speech at the UN General Assembly. You know, he was formerly the president of Ghana, just like President Trump. He served one term, 4 years. He was kicked out, and then Ghanaians saw the need to bring him back. So he's going to be taking office again in January 2025. And I want everybody watching this to share it until it reaches President Mahama himself. I want us all Pan-Africans, I want us all progressive Africans to sign a petition that will get to President Mahama to change the name of Ghana International Airport from Kotoka to whatever. Because who was Kotoka? Kotoka was the one who overthrew Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Kotoka was the one who overthrew Nkrumah government. Kotoka was the one who brought down the dream of a united Africa. We all know the ideologies, the philosophy of Kwame Nkrumah. It was all about the unity of Africa. And then we all know that if Nkrumah had achieved this unity of a united Africa, Africa wouldn't be where she is today. But Kotoka, in collaboration with the CIA, brought down Kwame Nkrumah. And Ghanaians could not give us anything, do us anything good, but to honor Kotoka by naming their international airport after Kotoka. It is time Ghanaians change that name. It is time we don't, like I said it before, the reason why Africa, we have people who always betray us is because we honor traitors. We are the only continent that honor traitors. Kotoka, Nkrumah sent Kotoka to Congo for a peace mission. The CIA contacted Kotoka in Congo, and Kotoka agreed to them that when he returned back to Ghana, he will overthrow Nkrumah. He came back, Nkrumah honored him, gave him the highest honor, and he couldn't think but to betray Kwame Nkrumah. And Ghanaians honor him by naming Ghana International Airport, Kotoka International Airport. It is time we sign a petition. Anyone watching this, please let us share this and let us spread this message of changing the Kotoka International Airport. As I said, we still have people today who are betraying the revolution. There's no consequence for people who betrayed the revolution. Imagine a man who betrayed the entire continent of Africa, not just Ghana, because Nkrumah was fighting for the entire continent of Africa. And this man, in collaboration with the CIA, brought down the Kwame Nkrumah government. And Ghanaians still honor him. I'm told Nkrumah started the airport or something like that. And before it could finish, Nkrumah was overthrown. And then he named it after himself, or they named it after him because he was the cool leader. But today, we have a government or a president who said he is Nkrumahist. So if the president-elect of Ghana is truly Nkrumahist, then when he take office on the 7th of January, let us cry out to him and tell him to change the name of Kotoka International Airport. We cannot continue to honor people who betray our collective interests. I thank you very much for coming around. Please, if you appreciate what we are doing, and if you really think that we should rename all those places, have a place called Victoria Falls. What good has Queen Victoria did for the continent of Africa that we will name a falls after him? We have to change it. But it has to start from Ghana, because mostly everything will start from Ghana. The president of Ghana, please, President John Dramani Mahama, if you are truly an Nkrumahist, then change the airport, Kotoka International Airport. Please change it, because Kotoka was a traitor. He was a traitor, and we cannot honor him by naming Ghana International Airport after him. So please, President John Dramani Mahama, if you are truly an Nkrumahist, please change that name, Kotoka International Airport. But you watching, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on this. Please, must we continue, or must Ghana continue to call that airport Kotoka International Airport, when, as a matter of fact, Kotoka was a traitor? Kotoka was the one who brought down the government of Kwame Nkrumah. Not only did he betray Ghana, but he betrayed the entire continent of Africa. I thank you very much for coming around, but please try and support my mission, One Africa Mission. We are missionaries, we are on a mission, and our mission is all about our unity and our collective dignity. Everything that we do here is to uplift the black race. So please support our mission. Let us fight for a united, dignified Africa, not just for us, but for the next generation of Africans. Thank you.
We must unite or we perish. It's African Union now. There is no time to waste.